Right now, former punter at Southern Miss and co-host of the SuperTalk Eagle Hour on SuperTalk Hattiesburg, SuperTalk Laurel as well. Luke, what's up, man?
Man, it's just regional week. It's been wild. All baseball this week on the Eagle Hour. Third time in school history Southern Miss is hosting. I've been reaching out, and two of the three head coaches for the regional going to join us on the Eagle Hour this week. We got a special 2-hour program out at the Pete, and working with LSU to get Jay Johnson on also. So, yeah, I think we're going to have the Army coach live with us on set Thursday for a special 2-hour show. But, yeah, just getting ready for some regional baseball. It's exciting.
Yeah, certainly a lot going on and such a cool time of the year. I didn't know that there was controversy out there. Borky tells me that Mikey Matuk, the former LSU outfielder, has said inflammatory things. What are we talking about here?
I was just on a podcast today. He was it's been kind of floating around social media for Southern Miss fans. I just said how they were looking forward to the Super and just kind of looking ahead to the Super Regional. And, I mean, you get it in some ways. I mean, I felt like LSU and Southern Miss were kind of both rewarded by the committee. Kennesaw's 35 RPI, but, 35 wins. And Army, as tough as they'll be mentally rolling in here, just 28 of their 31 wins are quad 4. But it seemed as if he was overlooking Southern Miss in that conversation as well.
The thing is, if you want to compare these two teams, Southern Miss is the host and the 1 seed, LSU as the 2 seed, then you kind of look at the two teams as polar opposites, right? I mean, Southern Miss hallmark is pitching, and this LSU team has really not been great on the mound this year, but they are special offensively. And it looks like they're finally healthy again, right, with the return of Jacob Berry, or at least the anticipated return of Jacob Berry, and Kay Doty back in the mix as well. And when they've got all of the pieces, that's a really good offense.
Yeah, 107 home runs, second in the SEC, and batting average at 289. And, if those two teams were to play each other Saturday night, I mean, it would be electric. Like you said, I mean, I was kind of surprised looking at LSU's pitching stats of their top 3 starters. It's kind of a combined ERA about 4.5, 4.5. So it'll be interesting to see. But we've been saying over and over again, back in 2003 when Southern Miss hosted a regional, they played Southern, and in the second inning, I think Ricky Weeks hit one about 550 out the 7th Street. So you never want to overlook your first round opponent. But it is kind of interesting with the rotation, a deeper kind of story there. Tanner Hall is from Zachary, Louisiana, about 20 miles north of Baton Rouge, and had some things to say earlier this week about how it would be nice if they could play LSU. And so Scott gave you the same answer he gave me yesterday. Nobody's going to find out until probably later in this week how they're going to do the rotation.
You, when we kind of touched on this last week, you said, Scott Hall's kind of done, or Scott Berry's kind of done it the same way over and over and over, right? He's going to throw his best guy in game 1 and then go to his next best guy in game 2. But do you think that, based on what you know about Army, that they might consider throwing off in game 1?
A few things that Christian Ostrander said last week, and then Scott he was a little more with me yesterday, just kind of even playing with you. He kind of said, we kind of do the thing the way we've always done it. I do think if he could break kind of his historic decision making, it would be this week. And the reason for that is Riggins hadn't allowed a run the last 2 appearances. He threw heroic against Florida Atlantic Friday night in the Conference USA tournament, struck out 7 over 7 1/3, got in some jams, was kind of saved, kind of a Sports Center top 10 play, Reese Ewing robbed the Grand Slam, but I mean, he's thrown 14 scoreless innings last time he's been out there. So really in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Riggins has been the best pitcher, and he pitches better on short rest. Ostrander told us that, and you could put him out there and feel like a veteran like him, rather than like a second-year guy like Waldrop might be a better game 1 matchup, the safe play, and then, you could throw Hall against LSU. It wouldn't surprise me either way if Scott Berry does either one of those two.
Well, and I don't know what Jay Johnson's going to do on the LSU staff, but the best pitcher on their staff is Mikael Hilliard, and even he has got an ERA that's north of 4 for the season, and the strikeout numbers don't blow you away. I'm wondering if that's a matchup that favors Southern Miss. Now, the curveball's good, and when the curveball's on, it's really good, but he absolutely does not blow you away with velocity. So as opposed to me editorializing, maybe the question in here, if Southern Miss were to see Mikael Hilliard, how does Southern Miss handle good breaking balls?
I mean, the deal on Christopher Sargent all year is just throw him low and away with a slider or breaking ball, and he's kind of been a sucker. The last couple of weeks, he's kind of shown better discipline, and that just goes back when Reese Ewing got in the lineup. Just kind of Reese's approach kind of helped Slade Wilkes and Sargent specifically. But yeah, I mean, Southern Miss is probably a little better. Fastball hitting team this year. Going back to Friday, Army's probably going to throw a lefty, and Southern Miss, which probably the last 5 years hasn't been that great against lefties. This lineup is better against lefties. But when you're looking at like potential, I would feel a little better about a fastball pitcher than I would a breaking pitcher. So Jay Johnson, if he gets Southern Miss in game 2, he might go with Hilliard.
Weather looks pretty good. Upper 80s, low to mid 90s over the course of the weekend. Maybe a chance of some thunderstorms on Friday night. Scott didn't bat an eye yesterday when I asked about playing early versus playing late. He said, no, absolutely, we're playing the first game. Do you like that strategy? Do Southern Miss fans like that strategy, or does that kind of take away from some of the juice in game number 1?
Well, I listened to that interview yesterday with you and Scott, and I like what he said. He said, we're going to have a big crowd regardless. I like that. And kind of I was talking to some people, and yesterday was probably the busiest day ever for the Southern Miss ticket office. And so, the juice, I think, will be there. There's been kind of this kind of wink handshake packed with Southern Miss fans. Like, they're buying up all the tickets. And if you go, to StubHub right now, like the LSU slot on Friday night on StubHub is about $100 a ticket. The Saturday night slot, of course, you don't know who's playing there, about $150 a ticket. And so Scott's not so much worried about the crowd or the atmosphere. He knows that it'll be what it needs to be. I don't blame him. It's for the rest purposes, and I think he told you. I mean, it's a quick turnaround. You finish at 9:30, 10 o'clock on Friday night, and you got to be taking BP, 10 hours later, 8 to 10 hours later on Saturday morning. So I certainly get that.
All right, so am I hearing you say a concerted effort to block purple and gold and make it all black and gold regardless of who's playing? And I ask that because we remember from a few years ago how upset Mississippi State fans were with the lack of ability to get tickets and get into Hattiesburg. Is it going to be like that this weekend as well? Well,
I mean, specifically we're dealing with like Mississippi State and LSU. You're dealing with, a stadium that has like 10,000 people in it, So with the Pete, I mean, we saw, 6,200, but the seating's closer to about 4,500. So if you're LSU or Mississippi State, what you got to understand is that Pete Taylor Park's still bigger than almost all stadiums in the country, right? I mean, yeah. You're 11th in attendance. I think it just speaks to the fact that Southern Miss, can fill up their stadium regularly. So, if you want to keep if you want to let capitalism, keep your home field advantage, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, each team will be getting their allotments of tickets, but yeah, I'm certain, Southern Miss fans will do what they need to do for games that aren't there. I can see them selling individual games, but nobody's going to be selling games where the Eagles play to LSU, Army, or Kennesaw State fans.
Yeah, understandably so. And I think, and this may not be exactly right, but I think that the visitor allotment of tickets in regional play is like 200 or 250. It's a pretty small number. So I'm sure there will be some frustrated LSU fans. Hey, last thing, is it one of those deals where everywhere you go in Hattiesburg, this is what people are talking about? Regional.
Yeah, that's what it is. And if the Conference USA atmosphere, the crowd shows anything like what this weekend will be, I think this weekend will take it to the next level. It'll be ecstatic and electric out there.
All right, so remind people, Thursday, 2-hour edition of Eagle Hour. Give me the details.
Yeah, 2-hour edition will be broadcasting right out in front of the Pete. Army coach, Coach Foster, will join us live on set working to get Jay Johnson. We'll have Ryan Coe on the Kennesaw State tomorrow on the show. But, yeah, Tuesday, probably Hill Denson or Scott Berry or Ostrander. Somebody will be around. We'll have some player interviews pre-recorded as well, but it'll be a fun day at the Pete.
All right, so that is